Welcome to Adventures with Children. I'm Grandma Wiseman, and today I'm going to take you on an adventure that is one of my favorite ones. Do you know what? It's called a cotillion. What is a cotillion? A cotillion is dancing, but it's done with a dance master who teaches you just exactly how to dance and how to have good manners and what you have to do at every given moment. Today, I want to show you some young people that are maybe just a little older than you, or maybe they're even a little younger. They are at a cotillion, and it's called the Burgess Cotillion. These people are about 120 in a group, and we teach them how to dance and how to have good manners. Would you like to watch them? Now, wasn't that fun? Could you see them having a good time and learning a lot of dancing? I'd like to introduce you to someone very special that's a dear friend of mine that'll help me to interview two very great women. Let me introduce you to Dr. Earl Beecher. Dr. Beecher, he's not a doctor that fits your body. He's the one that teaches you with the mind. He's a doctor of education. Dr. Beecher, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me here, Florence. This is a switch, you know. This
Yes.
is kind of fun.
He's always been interviewing people, and I felt I needed you with me. But Dr. Beecher, I want you to meet two of the most fascinating women that I know.
It's always a pleasure to meet fascinating women.
Well, these are very fine. Mrs. Monica Brady.
Hello, Dr. Beecher.
And
Hi, Monica.
Mrs. Kim Burroughs.
Hi. Now, what's so special about these two ladies?
Well, you know, we talked about the cotillions with the children.
Yeah.
And they've seen them. But there is an organization to cotillions now.
Now, you call this
Yeah.
the Burgess Cotillion.
Yes, it was Bobby
Monica,
Burgess.
why is it called Burgess?
Because it was formerly called Call's Cotillion, and Chloe Call, who was Florence's sister, started this program approximately about 50 years ago in Long Beach. And then she retired about 8 or 9 years ago, and Mr. Bobby Burgess, who was the original Musketeer, did Lawrence Welk for 22 seasons. He is our cotillion master. He is awesome.
I saw him on television this weekend.
Exactly. He's currently the spokesman for Walt Disney World, and he does a great job. He has with him 11 instructors out on the dance floor. We, at the cotillion that we run in Long Beach, have from 3rd grade up through 10th grade. Well, we go through 9th grade, and there are a few 9th graders that have asked to be invited back to 10th because there's nothing after that for them, and it is beautiful.
Did I see Florence on that footage that was dancing there with Bobby
And
Burgess?
Florence is the live wire there. Wouldn't you say, Kim?
Absolutely.
She is our little fireball. She is so spunky, and it's really nice to see the junior high children that are young children, young adults, that are in the cotillion, and they all love Mrs. Wiseman. I'm sure she's one of their favorites, as most of our instructors, because they're all good. We have the Thomases, Mr. and Miss Thomas, who've danced with Florence for how many years, Florence?
Oh, all their life. We've been in dancing for 50 years, and so, but Carol and Rob are a lot younger than that, and they're wonderful, and then I daughter dances also with them. But Kim, I like the way that you do the decorations. Every month we have a different theme, and Kim is the one that is the artist.
Well, it's fun. I enjoy getting the theme. We usually get the themes a year in advance.
Do you make them up?
Bobby chooses the
Bobby
themes.
chooses them.
Yes. But we get our invitations around this time every year in April.
Exactly.
And then we kind of have a meeting during the summer and plan exactly for each dance, you know, what we're going to do, what we're going to have for our desserts.
Desserts?
They serve refreshments every cotillion.
That's how we teach our young people how the gentleman escorts his partner up to the refreshment table. He's always on his partner's right side, and he picks up the the drinks, and the young lady picks up the refreshments, and he escorts her back to the seat. So and at that
Wait
time...
a minute. There's more going on here than just teaching dancing,
Oh,
Florence.
yes.
Exactly.
You know, a cotillion started way back in the 18th century. In the French courts, they wanted their young people to know exactly what to do when they had their big balls. And so cotillions have gone on a long time. And in that time, we have found that we do the same things. We teach them manners, etiquette in every way so that they can use it not just in dancing, but every day there is something that they learn in etiquette.
And cotillion isn't, all cotillions do not have decorations, nor do they have themes. Burgess Cotillion has done that because Call's Cotillion is known for that. If you, growing up in Long Beach, my husband went to Cotillion. There are so many of my friends that were in Cotillion. I came here late to Long Beach when I was 12, so I didn't get to do calls. However, about anybody you speak to around my age has all been in calls. I have a lot of parents that have their children that are in calls because they were there, and now it's Burgess. But they don't all decorate, and we are very lucky. We've kept that tradition, as well as the name tags that we make for 3rd and 4th grade to go along with them, and it is a great example for young people.
You apparently teach them how to dress also.
Yes, we talk about dress, and we try to get them to know that they dress according to their age level. If they're 3rd and 4th graders, we don't want them in shoulderless, sleeveless dresses. We want them to be modest in Sunday-looking dresses. We try and teach them what a sport dress is like, what it's like to be on a date dress. And when there is a formal affair, we try and teach them about formal things. In some of our classes, we even teach them about white gloves, and some of the cotillions have white gloves. Burgess has opted not to have the white gloves.
Correct. And the reason for that was because the mothers that found out that Call's Cotillion was still going on years ago, we all belonged to a different cotillion at the time, and it wasn't what we necessarily wanted for our children. It wasn't the good manners and everything. They did the gloves, but they didn't do all the things that Burgess Cotillion teaches the children today. And gloves, how many people do you see wear gloves today, Dr. Beecher, when you're out?
But you said you all belong to a different cotillion. I thought there was the Burgess Cotillion.
There are many cotillions, and they're throughout, and actually they're very big back east. And there are other cotillions that are around. Mr. Burgess does more than one cotillion. He started with us in Long Beach with Chloe Call, that was up at the Lakewood Country Club, and since we brought him down to Long Beach, we filled the cotillion the very first year, 300 young people. It's really impressive. And since then he's gone to PV. He has 2 different cotillions up there, and they're just opening up a new one, the Petroleum Club in Long Beach.
Actually, we have 3 in PV now.
Do you have 3 now, see?
3 in PV.
Boy, overnight they just grow.
So, but the beautiful thing of it is that the mothers are all volunteers. This program could not go on without all of the mothers that volunteer, the refreshments, the extra things that they do, all comes from mothers that volunteer to be there to help with the receiving lines. We teach them how to handle themselves when they introduce one another and look one another in the eye. It's a lot of fun.
It is great fun, and I think the most important thing that they learned that we liked more about the way that this cotillion was run is that Mr. Burgess and Miss Wiseman make sure that every child in the ballroom dances with every other person in the ballroom, because you can't become a great dancer if you're used to only dancing with the same person. You can if you dance with that one person, but a great dancer learns to dance with everybody, and a gentleman learns to be the leader. And every now and then we do see girls leading because at an early age they're used to tapping.
You know, now, Kim, how long have you had your children in the program?
8 years. I have 4 children, and they've all gone through. I have twins right now, and it's their last year, so I'm kind of...
Oh, that's interesting.
Gonna
You know,
miss
we're
it.
going to have to stop and have a break. After the commercial, come back. We're going to find more out about cotillions. Thank you. Our guests are Mrs. Monica Brady and Mrs. Kim Burroughs from the Burgess Cotillion for Children, and we're interviewing them as how the cotillions began in Long Beach, and they've been giving us so many insights. Kim, will you tell us a little bit about the decorations and how you came up with some of the ideas? I know Mr. Burgess makes themes, but you
Well, we're on a kind of on a budget, so you have to be creative, and I do use a lot of paper, colored paper, cutting things out, gluing them together, and building big things to set on tables and things to hang on curtains, and it's amazing how we can transform that ballroom with paper, really.
Exactly.
But it takes a lot of work. You have to plan it in advance. It doesn't happen 2 days before. We have to be thinking about it, you know, at least a month or so before the next dance. We have dances once a month, so it's not too hard. We know
Oh, that's
in
great.
advance.
Now, your children, do they help you with it? Because they're in the
My
program.
daughter does. She really loves it. That's what's so great about Cotillion, is it really allows children's creativity to come out, because when we have our theme dances, you know, we'll say, for instance, the Halloween dance is our best. You should see some of the creativity that walks in that door.
Oh,
But
yes.
other than the Halloween, which is of course costume, you know, we'll have like a 60s dance, a 70s dance.
Woodstock, we have Hawaiian luau's,
Yeah.
we have hoedowns.
And we encourage them to dress accordingly, and it's just so fun. We can't wait to see what they're going to walk in the door wearing, because the kids really get into it.
I think the key word here that Kim said is encourage. We want to encourage all of our children to have a fun time, a positive time, always be safe. But the greatest thing, I think, is that we give them a choice. Today, especially in Long Beach, you have uniforms in all the public schools. So we give them a choice. Do you want to dress the theme part? Or most of our theme dances, we let them
They
have
come
the
a little more
choice
casual.
of coming in sport dress, casual, meaning
Right.
no Levi's. Remember where you're at, shirt tucked in, slacks, and I think our favorite things are when it's a dressy dance where they wear their suit and tie. We can always tell when the boys are going through their growing spurt with their
Right.
big tennis shoes hanging out of their
Right.
suits, and moms go, "Oh, they put on their dress shoes and they didn't fit. Are you going to let them in?" And we say, well, you know, don't say it in front of your child and let them go, because our whole program is to set a positive atmosphere
But
for the
we
children.
We do really want them to have slick-soled shoes to dance with, because
it's
tennis
easier.
shoes are very hard to do a waltz, a foxtrot, a swing, a tango,
Right.
a rumba. About the only thing you can really do in tennis shoes is a little rock.
You're
So,
right. Except
we
for
do watch that.
Our members have done well, so it must be that good teaching, Florence, that you and Bobby.
Well, they're very good to obey the rules. I like cotillions because it teaches them obedience and control. The lovely thing about cotillions is that they learn all kinds of manners. Can you think of anything your boys have ever said to you after they've been at cotillion? Can you,
I think
Monica?
that it's, my children, I've been very fortunate because I think it's helped them in every scenario. We travel a lot and we go places, and my boys, we were at a wedding party in Wilmington, and my boys didn't know anyone. I used to teach school there, and they went up and asked someone to dance and did a fabulous tango. You would have been proud of them, Florence.
Very good.
I think I've had 3 of my sons go through, and my daughter. I'm an older mom. All my children are grown and gone. My baby's 19, Kim's children. So last year, I'm going to miss Kim because...
I was going to say, one of the things parents even learn, sitting and watching and enjoying. I've learned, which I never really knew, you always wear your name tag on the right, because when you're shaking hands with somebody, that's where your eye goes. And I mean, you really do pick up very helpful things that will carry you through your life.
Absolutely.
And that is the only thing that goes on the right. All of the corsages
Right,
and the pins.
and they learn that.
Those are the left shoulder. But the name tag is on the right because of we are in America are people that shake hands.
Yes.
And we have to learn all kinds of things. Now that our world is becoming smaller,
Right.
we're finding all kinds of new cultures and new things to teach,
Absolutely.
and it makes it so
I
nice.
also think it gives kids self-esteem, because it's putting them in a position before they're going to possibly be dating to kind of get over that fear of asking a girl to dance, or vice versa, the girl going up to a guy. And it really breaks some barriers that I think kids have today, and makes them a little bit more at ease and gives them confidence. And I've seen that with all 4 of my children.
And in our classes, having 120 to 130 children per class, Mr. Burgess and you make sure that they start with one person, they go in a circle, so everybody dances with every single person in that ballroom. which makes them a better dancer, but it also helps them socially. Because you have to introduce yourself. Mr. Burgess says, make sure you introduce yourself to this partner, and then at the end of the dance, 30 seconds later, 40 seconds, thank them and go on. And then after refreshment, he'll say, now this is a man's choice or a woman's choice, and it does help them. Socially, I think it's really helped children a lot.
I know in the February dance, I love the idea that they're having a contest. You know, they've only had about 4 or 5 lessons the first year, at the longest 4 or 5 lessons, and you know, Dr. Beecher, those children really try, and they become very competitive, which
They
I
do.
like. I like them to be
We
competitive.
crown them.
How many crowns do you use in cotillions? What do you use?
Well, per class, we use 6 because we have the king and queen, who obviously are the best, and then we have their court, the prince and the princess, and the duke and the duchess. And along with the crowns, they get a trophy and they get a prize. And we give out
We
prizes.
give out prizes every month.
Every month.
And that is the kids' favorite part.
Right.
Of the,
And it can be something they've earned or something that you have a lucky ticket. But
And that's a very important thing, because they do look forward to having a prize. And most of the children get a prize through the year, or is it just a few?
we've
How do
tried
we do
very
that?
hard
Yeah.
to do it so that we ask them on their own honesty.
and they're honest.
And they are
if they've
honest.
won, they'll say,
They've
"Oh,
won
I already won a
before.
prize," so we let someone else. And that's what it's all about,
It
teaching
is.
them,
It
you know,
is.
what's right and what...
And they're on their own honor system. You know, if somebody comes up and says, Mrs. Brady, they already won. I said, you know what? Maybe they forgot. Because you have to leave it up to the children. And most of them, I agree, don't you think
Oh,
they're
yeah.
very, very honest? We're very lucky. And we have great classes. We have children from all over. I want to make sure that everybody knows. Even though it's in Long Beach, I had kids from LA and all the way to Yorba Linda and Riverside. I had a grandmother bring her granddaughter from San Clemente. And it's really nice to see that people think it's that important. And
I notice there's a lot of parents that come to the classes, and sometimes we have to shush the parents in order for the young people to
They
hear.
get very carried away.
But,
It's their social hour also.
but it's kind of fun to see the enthusiasm of different generations. The little ones are up there trying to learn the dances
Right.
behind
On the sidelines.
their
Florence, isn't it the
sidelines.
cutest when you see those little 3- and 4-year-olds bip-bopping around, you know, out away from the dance floor watching their older siblings. So it's very easy to get the younger ones interested, and no one has to say, oh, we're going to try this. But it really would be nice, especially for all the young children that you're talking to, Florence, to tell them that before they decide whether they like it or they don't like it, they should go and observe. They should just go and see one. And we do have one at the Golden Sails in Long Beach, and everyone is welcome to come and observe.
I think one of our favorite dances is the mother-son, father-daughter dance, because the kids get to dance with their parents. And it's fun when you get out there, you know, and it's like, gee, I wish they had cotillions for us older people.
Oh, how many times have the
every
parents
every
asked every
dance,
time?
they say, oh, but this would be
Yes,
fun if we
put it
could do
together.
this. So
Well, the beautiful thing about it is that Bobby is up there, Mr. Burgess, our dance master, is up there teaching you, and that makes it so that the young person that's dancing with you, he already knows a step, and he really feels proud when he can lead you through the steps.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's so
Makes
fun
them feel
for
very
them.
secure.
Secure and accomplished. It really makes you have another hobby. Dancing can be a hobby, or it can even be a profession. Dr. Beecher, one time you used to dance. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was back before you were born, Florence.
I doubt that.
I taught 3 years for Arthur Murray, 1945, 46, and 47, right at the end of World War I. Excuse me, World War II. I'm
There we
kidding.
are. Well, I was going to say,
Right.
But anyway, yeah, and the same dances are still popular. You've added a lot of things.
Yes.
But we taught the foxtrot and the waltz and the rumba, the samba, the tango,
we do
We
that.
do all
the
of those.
mambo,
Current
cha-cha-cha.
steps also, square dancing for the younger children. We
Oh,
do.
square dancing is so fun.
It is. And for themes like we've had Western hoedowns, Mr. Burgess does a lot of line dancing. I think my favorite was the 60s and 70s, the John Travolta, you know, the dance. Mr. Burgess
the
comes in his,
disco.
he comes in his white John Travolta suit, and
Very
we
fun.
all laugh. Yes, it is funny. And the children are very creative in what they wear too, but they happen to really like those old dances. It's really amusing.
Well, we're going to have to take another break now for a moment. Just relax and we'll go on with seeing the rest of the Burgess Cotillion. Thank you. Our guests tonight for the Burgess Cotillion's Cotillion, is Mrs. Monica Brady and Mrs. Kim Burroughs. They have been coordinating these dances and bringing all these children together for us to teach. What a wonderful thing to have. This is my adventure. And I love being there. It's like an adventure every solitary day. Don't you feel that way every month when you come?
I do, Florence. And all my children are raised, and I don't think there's a better program than Cotillion.
I just have to say, last week, Monica and I went and watched one of the girls that's in Cotillion. She got the lead in her high school play, My Fair Lady, and we were crying. We felt like it was our own child up there. And you should have seen her do the ballroom sing. Her waltzing was beyond... Oh, perfect.
Exactly.
We were just so thrilled. So we really care about the kid. We call them our kids. I mean, we really try to...
Well, that's how I feel about them.
To be a part of their lives.
And great.
They've been with us that many years.
Oh, yeah.
From third grade, most of these children, 85% of the children that start in third grade, finish through 8th. Now, they're ninth graders. There's not as many ninth graders as we'd like because of their school schedule once they get high school, but it's so wonderful. And I think some of my favorite things about Cotillion are, I'm the chairwoman, so I go and ask the children what they think since it's a children's program. And my favorite things to share are what I say, what would you do differently if you were running the program? And the little boys that say, if we didn't have to hold the girls' hands because they're so sweaty. And that is so cute. Or to change the refreshment. But those are the only two corrections in the 14 years that I've been doing this that I've ever heard.
Really?
So,
Once in a while, they'll tell me a prize that they would like
to see
something
out
I
there on
could
the
buy
prize
that would
table.
be something they'd like to see out on that prize table.
Oh,
and I
yes.
have kids the ages, so I always take them shopping and let them pick out, tell me, what do kids your age like? And boy, my daughter tells me, when I buy something that's not right, it goes back to the store because to mother, they aren't going to like that.
Isn't that great? I know that prize table, the first thing they do is look. You know, all the joy is having children have a good time without having to get into the drug scene.
Correct.
Without having to have bad language around them. There's so many things out in the world today that influences our children negatively.
Right, and this is very positive.
Is very positive.
It's all positive.
It has been since the 18th century when they learned the minuet and the quadrille and the dance of the nation. Now we do all of the dancing, even the popular. I guess we'll be coming up with bebop now because it's next on the list. But along with it is done in such a way that we never embarrass anyone. It's done to make them ladies and gentlemen.
And they have fun doing it.
Mm-hmm. Now, have I any minute, or is it over? I have one more suggestion. Mothers and dads, if you are there, I want to talk to you a minute about, grandmas have some ideas. Well, one of my ideas is that we did when I had my little ones, is we had family dinners. I know in the rush of today, with both parents working, we end up on the TV tray and in front of the television. But if you want your children to start thinking about good manners, start them at the family dinner table. Have a conversation with them. Find out what they like and what has happened at school. This is the time for them to learn right at your own dinner table the manners that we try to enforce a little bit in the cotillions. Will you remember that? I used to take our children once a week to a restaurant, and they knew on the menu where their daddy's pocketbook was so that they didn't order just anything. Isn't that a good advice?
Boy, that's very good.
I hope you'll remember that. Bye-bye, everyone.